Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to make, I've been seeing online on TikTok and everywhere these Taco Bell breakfast crunch wraps. And they look really good and really easy to make. And I know I can make them vegan. So today that's what we're going to make because it's a weekend morning and I want to make something for breakfast, but I also want to make something that I can have in my fridge or my freezer for sort of whenever I want a quick breakfast, well, on a work day or a weekend day. Our first step is to gather our ingredients. Now I've already sort of pre-prepared my ingredients somewhat because I wanted to make this fast for you guys. But here are the ingredients for these breakfast crunch wraps. You need some burrito-sized wraps, and I'm using these Dempsters. You need some breakfast breakfast hash browns. And then you need to, oh, I know what I forgot. We're going to use a block of tofu. I've got, every time that I buy peppers and onions, if I'm not going to use them up right away, I cut them up and I freeze them. So I've got a little bit of red and orange pepper here diced and a little bit of white onion. And then this is 2 links of a vegan sausage, a breakfast sausage that we're going to use. And then obviously a block of firm or extra firm tofu. And then some seasonings. I've got my herb and garlic seasoning mix, which is very similar to my tofu scramble mix. And because these are Taco Bell inspired, I'm going to use a bit of this Cajun seasoning as well. And then I made a batch of my super easy healthy cheese sauce. And I will link the video for this below. I highly recommend you make it. It is basically soaked cashews, a small jar of roasted red peppers, some nutritional yeast, some nooch, and some seasonings, mostly paprika, but garlic and onion powder as well. And then it makes a really good cheese sauce. So that's what we're going to use. The first thing I'm going to do is get these in the toaster oven cooking. Should have preheated my toaster oven, but I did not. So I think I'm going to make 8 of these. I think that should be, oh wait a second, it really will depend on how many of these I have, won't it? I think I have 8, but maybe I don't. Will these even all fit on here? 4, 5, 6, 7. I have exactly 8. Did I plan that out? No, but happy coincidence. So we're going to get those into there. And get those doing their thing so that they can get nice and crispy and browned. Into my frying pan. And if you guys are wondering what this is, it's the box around my hood fan. I'm in a tiny house. I have limitations as to how I can film stuff. All right, so the next thing, I've got that warming up. I'm going to spray a little bit of cooking oil in there, and I'm going to put, let's get the water out of here. I'm going to put my onions and my peppers in there to start softening, cooking up a little bit. Actually, I think I'll use this. The nice thing about freezing your onions and peppers and such is that it makes them soften a lot faster when you go to cook them. So we'll just leave that do its thing. In the meantime, let's get this open. I'm not going to press this because I want my tofu scramble to be fairly moist. But I will just dry it, or sort of a little bit, with a paper towel. Get a little bit of it off. Okay. Now I prefer to season my tofu before it goes into the pan, because it's easier to crumble, it's easier to season. So just crumble your tofu. So, I don't know about you guys, but it used to be that going to like a Taco Bell or a fast food place was a great way to get a cheap, sort of fun meal. Now, it costs a fortune to go to a fast food place, drive-through or fast food place. It's crazy. So much for an affordable little treat. So, and that's just for me. I can only imagine what it costs to get to a whole family's meals through there. It's pretty much approaching the price of what a regular restaurant used to be. And I don't know if, it's been a long time since I've been to a regular restaurant. I don't even know how much that costs now. But everything has gone up in price. I'm sure I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know. Okay, so we've crumbled the tofu. Let's give this a stir. And I'm going to add a little bit of water in there to soften those up without them browning too much. Because I want those soft. Once those get soft, we're going to add in the sausage. In the meantime, let's season this. You want to season it fairly liberally. I think I want to use a spoon. Now, if you don't want to make the cheese sauce, obviously you can use some store-bought shreds, which I have. I haven't decided if I'm going to use yet. I have some Tex-Mex ones. Anyways, like I was saying, price of food, ridiculous. Price of going out, even to a fast food place, ridiculous. So you can make something like this and have them in your freezer for really quick breakfasts. It's something that you can take to work. It's something that your kids can take to school, eat on the way to school, or even at home, obviously. Okay, let's add some of this. If you don't have Cajun seasoning, you could use a little bit of taco seasoning. Yep, that is good. All right. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more oil in here, because this is starting to stick. And we can add in the sausage. Whatever vegan sausage you have, let's just fry this up so that they get a little bit of color on them. These have a little bit of color on them. Let's add in the tofu scramble. Sorry, we're making tofu scramble. Let's add in the tofu. You can keep these separate, right? You can keep the sausage and onions and peppers separate from the tofu and add them in as a separate layer, but why not make things easier? Put them all together. All right, so I'm going to let this cook. I'm going to let the breakfast hash brown patties cook, and then we'll come back here to assemble in however long that takes. Well, you know what they say about best laid plans. There's only 6 in here. So I'll be making 6. And if I'm going to have 2 sausage patties left over, or why do I keep calling them sausage patties? They're hash brown patties. I'll have 2 of those left over. All right, so we've got our mix. I just wiped out the pan because we're going to be toasting it. And then here is my cheese sauce. It is So delicious. It kind of reminds me of Cheese Whiz, maybe, but it's just so delicious. For this version, when you click on the link in the description below for the recipe for the cheese sauce, I do call for a little bit of curry powder. Just give it a bit more color and a little less paprika. This time around, I just used all paprika because I wanted that smoked paprika. I wanted that smoky flavor for what we are doing today. Right, so let's get to making these. So we'll start with, well, actually, I'm going to start with a little bit of the cheese sauce. That's going to be our base because I'm not going to use any shredded cheese. We're going to make this a little healthier. I'm using air quotes around that. Then one of the hash brown patties. Look, I said it right this time. And then our scramble mix. Is that a bit too much? I always put too much in there. And then you fold this like you would a regular crunch wrap, which is just folding in and then kind of folding in. I'm going to put this face down into our pan and just let that toast. It's a dry pan. And we'll make the rest of these. Why don't I make a couple at a time, you say? Well, that's an excellent idea. All right, the first one's done. The others are still going to be cooking. And I will take them out as they come out. Okay. So we're just going to cut that so you can see what it looks like and I can see what it looks like. Let's give this a try. So good. Just making everything in one little pocket. You could use chunky hash browns, shredded hash browns if you don't have the hash brown patties. But super easy, delicious. Once they've cooled, I would wrap each one in parchment paper and then put them in a bag or container and store them in the freezer. When you pull them out, it would be best to let them thaw in the fridge before you cook them. Maybe just put it in your fridge that night for the next morning and then toast them either on a frying pan or in a little George Foreman or a little panini press. Yum. So good. Okay. Better not forget about these because if you do, you end up with that. Lordy Adelina. Okay, I'm going to pay attention to this, eat my breakfast, and say goodbye for now. I hope you give this a try. Let me know if you have also noticed how crazy expensive fast food is lately. Not that I eat a lot of it, because first of all, there's not a lot of vegan options, and secondly, it's not very healthy. But holy cow, is it expensive. So this is a great recipe for getting that sort of fast food fix, making something that you can meal prep, put in the fridge, put in the freezer for quick meals and snacks. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're staying safe. Whew, what a world. Remember, in a world where you can be anything, be kind, including to yourself. I love you, and I'll see you next time.